people are on edge, I guess. So anyways, that's just what I've noticed. And it's just, I've been reading, it's just kind of sad that it's gotten to this point where everybody's so mad at each other. So
Yeah.
anyways.
Has everything to do with, since that this seems to be the question of the day, I'll chime in. If you want to see a very sort of not funny parody, but a very good parody, the new movie, the Jennifer Lawrence and DiCaprio, Just Look Up. The premise of the movie is there's going to be a comet to hit the Earth in 6 months, and what happens? And it's a very good, it's a parody. It's a really pretty funny but pretty ironic parody that that ends in a very good place and a bad place, but it's very funny in parts of it. The other thing that I'd like sort of to reinforce what Hector said was this is also true in the schools. I'm listening to the teacher friends I know, and then I had a really long conversation with my sister-in-law Therese last week, and that's the same experience they're having with children. She's in a middle school, so you can imagine how difficult it is to get middle schoolers back into the social environment, social setting when their development has been stunted, literally. And so you got middle schoolers who are stunted, you've got airline passengers who are stunted, and you have the people on this call who are like working towards compassion. And so we can only do that like with the 8 or 12 of us right now. We have to keep doing that. We have to keep setting that tone for any of the members of our group that come in, but also like working at a much higher level in terms of the interactions on the planet, just setting that tone. There's it's a bad word to say tipping point. It's a continuous process. It's not, we're not tipping towards someplace that we're going to move beyond. We're just slogging along. And
Right.
we've all got the gray hair to prove it. But I'm glad to be here. I'm sort of looking forward to the end of the year. It's always a kind of a melancholy time for me at the late afternoon sunsets, but also there's something really significant happening because sort of the depth of unhappiness and the manipulation of the entire financial system to oppress us. And the question is, what can I do sitting in my chair looking at this whole bigness? And I've decided I'm going to be optimistic even when I'm pessimistic.
That's true.
How to spin a story of, that though. How in the world did they get away from the comet is what I want to know. Okay, we were talking about the movie Look It Up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look
Just
up.
look up.
Yeah, don't look up.
Just look up. The opposite is don't look up. That's the Trump side. Just look up.
What happened to the comet that was going to hit the Earth?
I don't want to give away the ending, but there's no happy ending to this one.
What?
You just gave it away.
Okay, so let's start our actual meeting here. Gail says that she had trouble getting in with the Zoom link. Did anyone have that problem?
Hi. Well, you have to go into Zoom, which I'm already a member of, and then put in the ID number. Your link didn't work. You're right.
Okay, so that's what Gail said. I think I'm going to take a minute and resend the announcement with the correct Zoom link.
Worked for me. I didn't have any problem at all.
Worked for me too.
Really?
Same.
No, in her email, it didn't light up, so you couldn't click on it and it would take you there. You had to highlight the address and then go into your server and put in the address Then when you get to Zoom, you put in the meeting number.
I didn't have to do that either. I just clicked on the link.
Sometimes, Adrian, when it comes to the Google
My link
notification,
didn't connect.
the link doesn't work.
I tried to link, I tried to click on the link and it didn't highlight.
Yeah.
I think, well, all right.
Oh, I will send out another announcement to people just in case that there's people trying to get in. Talking about our agenda, and if someone could please take on the role of note taker, or if you would like to facilitate instead, I will do the notes.
I can do notes.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. Okay, so what would you like to talk about today? I have really nothing on my agenda except a little saves update, which Hector's going to do, so I don't even have to do that.
Okay,
Gregory,
What's on your mind, folks?
his latest email.
I'm sorry, Anita, what?
Gregory, you want to talk about your latest email? Abra?
If it's the one about the Zoom meetings that I'm having, yeah. At noon, at 5 o'clock, and another time to be determined every day, I have an hour Zoom that I'm dedicating to a group of us from the ARPA review to try to help people and help change the system. The noon meetings are for people who want to change the administration of grants by the county. There's a lot of things the county does that makes it hard to be able to get grants from them. The 5 o'clock is for anybody who wants to prepare a proposal in order to get money. And the other one is an evaluation that I'm working with Oscar to be able to have the development of how the county evaluates the proposals, metrics. So those three are going on. And if you're interested, I sent out a note, an email with two, the noon and the 5 o'clock. Everyone's welcome. Thank you.
Is anyone else having trouble hearing?
Yes,
Okay, I'll get a little closer.
That would be great.
Somebody that's a orange C needs to mute him or herself.
That's Cheryl.
Okay. I can hear otherwise well.
Okay. All right, that's good. So what else?
before you go on, mine, yeah. Gregory, I don't think I got your email. Oh, wait a minute.
It was last week.
I just see ARPA save the date.
I think that's it.
Oh, that's it? Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay. I didn't read it fully. Thank you.
Yeah, pass it on to anybody who's trying to get money. 5 o'clock especially.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Carrie,
Yeah, I kind of noticed on the weather report that it's supposed to snow down to sea level tomorrow.
Ooh.
Is there anyone doing things to keep people from dying from the cold tonight? What's going on out there? Anybody doing anything? I know up in Guerneville, we're trying to do a little something, but anybody else doing anything?
anybody else thinking about this tonight?
My weather report told us it was gonna be in the 40s. That's
Well,
not
it
freezing.
looks lovely outside my window right this minute, but it was awfully cold last night, so.
I mean, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know that that's adequate to protect people.
Thinking probably.
Well, they're sure that it's not.
But
And
the first step.
it's I'm aware of it, and
I see notices from other counties that they're opening warming centers. Santa Clara, San Francisco.
one would think with the millions of dollars that have changed hands and been allocated that it would be possible to do that.
Maybe that should be a topic of yours at 5 o'clock today, huh, Gregory?
Well, anybody who wants to open something, they'll have to wait till May because the ARPA money isn't going out the door until May. But
So,
yeah,
I would say no, is the answer to that.
but the thing is, tomorrow, there's no Board of Supervisors meeting tomorrow, and there's no City Council meeting tomorrow. But
Oh, gosh.
they aren't meeting
We
until early
are.
January.
I'll email the
Yeah,
mayor of Santa Rosa, tell him
Sure.
there's some people that are gonna be freezing.
yeah. No, that's what I would do.
I think we need to be emailing the Board of Supervisors and every city council around.
Yep.
This is absurd that they put out a press release saying, oh, we have 53 warming spaces for people. In addition to all the other things that the county does, the 53 spaces are not by the county. They're not doing a damn thing. They're just from care providers like the Gospel Mission, et cetera. And the county is trumpeting this as, their effort to help keep people warm when they're talking about 53 spaces for 2,000 people. And it is, I'm furious. I'm absolutely furious. I think we have to bombard everybody with our protests to this, that they open and that demand that they open immediate spaces. The Vets building, Finley, all the spaces at the fairgrounds sit empty while our friends are freezing in the cold, freezing rain and cold. I'm slightly hysterical.
So I went out and dropped $500 this last weekend on heaters and propane tanks. And I'm just setting
Yay.
up out in the open. I'm not using a building. I'm just getting people up against the side of a building, nothing inside, get them up against the side of the building, warming the side of the building, warming them, getting them so they're not freezing to death. I put out 4 hours the last 4 nights. each
Oh,
night.
bless your heart.
I move we reimburse Terry.
Where's other people? Where's other people on this? Where's our cities on this? I'm an individual person. If I can do it by myself, where's our towns and our cities on this? People that actually have money to do this.
Yeah.
Or our churches.
Well, I'm gonna post in the chat the emails of all of the Continuum of Care and Board of Supervisors. If anyone wants to email folks, here's a list. Just put it in your CC. That's one thing we can do.
That's a good idea.
And somewhere I have lists for the city councils of other cities. I'll try to get that to you while we're having this meeting.
Isn't there a charter meeting tomorrow afternoon, Terry?
Jerry, are you there with us right now? It sounds like he's stepped away.
Yeah. I have on my calendar at 2:30 COC Charter Committee.
Well, this does raise an issue that I think you've all seen that Ludmilla is stepping down from this Continuum of Care homeless and formerly homeless seat.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so she made a formal announcement of that and sent it off to the staff.
Oh,
And Ludmilla, do you want to say anything before I ask people to try to find someone to replace you? Do you want to say anything about why you've stepped back?
Well, I really had to think about it. Because I do feel that I am a good voice to have there. Why am I stepping back? I've just gotten multiple signs from the universe, and I tend not to jump when I get the first sign from the universe on something on a big thing like this. That it's time for me to step back from it and allow other people to come in and speak in that role. I think part of it is that I have said everything that I can say. I mean, I've said everything that I had to say. And it is some of, and some of it's been heard, a lot of it's been heard. I feel that there's been motion toward correct things. But I want somebody else to come in and say what they have to say from another angle. I don't want them to become so used to me speaking that they go, oh, okay, we know what Lamella's going to say. You know, we can continue to, you know, put that off for another couple of years. So it's mostly that I'm really finding that I have some other things that are really going to be taking up a lot of my time and energy. I really want to get a group going out of Santa Rosa Junior College, as far as a student club and looking at classes that could be taken by homeless people to recover from homeless people, and seeing what I could do to help move a kind of the formation of a certificate program or something in that direction, so that people who want to recover from homeless, such as myself, you know, can kind of have a group of classes that we could, you know, get some guidance on and recommendations for. Kind of have some ideas. I'll have to see, you know, there's a tremendous amount of support or just agreement, enthusiastic support. I haven't gotten the logistical support yet from the school to help me out, although I've got several people that have offered that, you know. But anyways, so that's going to take a lot of time. I'm sorry. I'm in a stream of consciousness here. So anyways, it's really, I would really love to come in and be able to support somebody else who's in the role. And not feel that I'm trying to drive, you know, 3 or 4 trains simultaneously, you know, across a very large county here. So.
Yeah, thank you. So the reason I bring this up is that we don't have anyone that I know of who's capable and able to run for this seat. I assume there's going to be some kind of election process, but it would be really good. And the rules are you have to be homeless or within 5 years of homelessness. So if there's anyone you've seen, Ludmilla, and I think you've been involved in the committee, maybe somebody's popped up there. But I think you would know that by now if you had. It's
Well,
really it's pretty a difficult thing because you have to have access to computers and computer technology, be able to get onto all these Zoom meetings and read a lot of documents. And that's a pretty hard skill set for someone who's homeless.
It's more to really be aware of what is needed out there. And then what I'll do is I've been able to like look through and scan through documents that would, you know, kind of looking for and kind of what I want to see happen is one way to go about it. You know, you can, there are other people who get so buried in the documents that they're not on the committee, you know, that they're not actually out there getting action done. And that's actually part of the problem. I will say that the current way it's going to be set up as far as the election, if there were a formed lived experience committee that was, or advisory group that was capable of really fairly choosing somebody, then that and they're recognized by the COC board to do so as being able to do that, they could have the capacity to choose a representative. However, I don't foresee that being the case for going into this election. It's so the person is going to be elected by the membership of the voting membership of the COC thing. And so what I had heard as of, I think, December 17th, when the last or something, whenever one of the last COC meetings was, that there were only 12 people who had applied to be a member. You know, the 12 organizations that had applied for voting membership. So really, I think having, you know, does the voting membership have any power other than to elect those few representatives?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been there, you know.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt you and get Gail into the conversation.
I was gonna type it, but I won't. Ludmilla, I really applaud your move. Your shoes will be very difficult to fill there, but it's just a bunch of brick walls, a maze of brick walls, and you're moving to a more energetic group, more creative group, or place. I think is a really good move. It is also a good point that you make that we need to share the burden, that they need to hear different voices, and maybe this will force that. But I can't imagine how anybody can replace your energy and effort. So thank you so much for what you've done.
Yeah, I have said that to Ludmilla more than once, I think, as she was trying to
I'm just-
decide what to do.
The magnitude of the problem, I mean, is you know, even with everything that I have said, you know, throughout the year, we've, for lack of a better term, completely failed to have really adequate shelter going into winter, obviously. In the middle of COVID, 2 years of COVID, you know, millions of dollars of funding that's supposed to keep people healthy. And we
Yeah.
can't have adequate winter situations for people. I'm beyond words at this point. I can't. I'm there in the center of it, and I'm. Wow.
Yeah, I know
Well,
it's
I
been
would
really,
hope-
really difficult to be in a sort of powerful position, but really have no power, which is what I've seen happen here. Gregory, and then back to Gail.
Well, I'd like to ask all of us, because the requirements, I know some people on this call have been in and out of permanent housing. And that qualifies you, I think. But I'd also like to ask Barbara Lee and Hector and Suzanne and everybody else who's working currently with clients, if there's a support system that we can up the ante a little to try to encourage people who are either going into the Sebastopol site or who have been around for a while, you know, to think about stepping up, because I mean, we're 1/12 of those votes. You know, I'm sure that, you know, the Homeless Action's got a vote. Adrian's going to cast it. And, you know, I'd like us to vote for somebody who wants it and who, you know, we can support. That's all.
Thank you, Gail, and then Anita.
Yes, just briefly, a few days ago in the newspaper, there was an example of this frustration that we feel. They were talking about the ARPA funds, and if you read the article carefully, they had several bullet points where the ARPA funds were going to go. And it seemed to me that most of the ARPA funds, a large amount of it, was going to the administration of the ARPA funds. And it just very upsetting. Very little is going to trickle down to people, and that's what happens here. But I do believe in keep on pushing, so I admire anyone that will step forward to keep on pushing. Thank you.
Anita.
And I wanted to read this. This is from my friend's book, Addendums. And she says, citizen regulatory commissions are arenas of nepotism that should be outlawed in all justice to the people. And I think that's what Ludmilla is talking about. There's a lot of nepotism, you know, that is, everyone agrees with everyone else. So I would hope, Ludmilla, and this is coming from me, that when you leave, you do it with a large stir that tells them exactly why you're leaving and who you are. on the committee as a homeless person, seeing people freezing tonight. I would hope you would be able to do that, but I know going up against that huge barrier is not going to be easy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you continue coming to homeless action meetings and let us know how it goes with the college.
Thank you. Suzanne and Kathleen.
Okay, well,
You muted.
Suzanne, you muted.
thank you. Now I get it that I was muted. I am stepping up a lot in Sebastopol in ways that might not be so visible. Right now, for instance, in the moment on my phone, I'm writing a letter to the city council about, about the freezing and the rain and especially the people who are not in a vehicle. But I also am, two of the city council members call me to get my opinion. One I agree with, one I disagree with. That person knows that I disagree with her, but I keep working on things. But I'm pretty right now I'm working on coming up with a list, and it's hard to get, of people in the trailers who are crowding in, ones who were swept before or otherwise homeless. Some of the trailers have 4 or 5 people in them. And it's not, I know, maybe 4, maybe 5's an exaggeration. But I'm trying to get the names if they're willing to give, even if it's only a first name. And also, the owner or the primary resident, and maybe one person who might possibly go to the village if they were fortunate enough to make it into the village. But I want the other names. And some people don't want to. I'm making a list. I'm making it to bring to city, not the names, but the numbers, the city council. There are also way too many people, too many trailers and other vehicles that, I tell people they'll probably be on a waiting list, but we need your information anyway. And then there's quite a few people who are sleeping in cars who at first thought maybe they would get in. Now I don't quite know the answer to that, but I think they won't. I think it's RVs. And I'm working very diligently with the Jennifer Lake, who does like a social worker role, although she has another title. And I'm bringing people to her, I'm saying you don't get your registration done. The Sebastopol Police Department could have started towing yesterday. I think they may be towing today. I'm going to go out there after this meeting, and some people haven't turned their paperwork in. Jennifer is able to delay things if there's real things like, the title or the amount of, some more money was donated, as Hector would know about too. And that is excellent that we have more money for there is more money for Jennifer to get things done. But meanwhile, people could be towed today. So I have no further energy to do anything related to COC. Once in a while, I write, something like other people do, but my energy has to be here because it's really more than I can do anyway here. That's it for me.
Thank you. Kathleen?
I'm thinking that, well, number one, Lily, you're just an out and out hero. That's all I have to say. You are a hero, and I offer you my undying gratitude for the great work you have done. I'm in awe of what you've been doing. Secondly, nobody has even talked about this, and nor did I even know it was coming. The sweeping of the bicentennial camp.
All right.
20 people. and some of them went to shelter, to Sam Jones. But I'm thinking that I'd like to suggest that Homeless Action put out a press release talking about the absolute horror of this situation, and that it's unacceptable, that it's inhumane, and that we try to get something into the papers. So I'm happy to work with somebody on that if we want to do it. But I want to ask, and I have several questions if we do, about how we're going to be naming certain people who are involved with saves, and not to contaminate saves with Homeless Action, because the county would slap your wrist. So anyway, that is up for discussion and for the decision of this group.
Thank you.
I
Diana Rich has joined us. I just want to say hi, and I tried to catch you up a little bit about what we're talking about. Gregory also sent you a chat. Who else has got their hand up? I thought I saw another hand. Ludmilla.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I am not at this time stepping down, and I had let a couple of people privately know that I am doing that. Like, I'm putting my seat back on the ballot so that somebody else can be elected into it. And that is that will be happening. It's currently scheduled for March. Okay, so I am continuing in this position. I am not resigning from it. I am continuing in this through the next couple of months at least, until such time as I am replaced. Okay, and that's a huge difference. So I'm not dead. I'm not done. What I'm doing is I'm transitioning to things where I can be more locally involved with specific projects, things with a college is not the only thing. And really what I would love to see is a great group of people come together for the Lived Experience Advisory Group. There are some serious problems with the way it's being set up currently. I'm going to be in a meeting later today to address that. But there is a current deadline of the 3rd of January for anybody that would like to apply to be a part of that Lived Experience Advisory Board group. There is one of the setup problems is that there is a really inappropriate clause in there that says that somebody who is works for a provider, cannot, or has worked for a provider, is not supposed to apply. I would ignore that. I would just state in there that if you have worked for a provider, state in there that you have worked for one and that you want to be part of the committee. This is for lived experience people. Just bypass that, because I'm going to be reaching out to people in that category myself independently, and having a separate and independent meeting if they won't allow those people in that category of lived experience people in the other group. I need, as a CSC board rep, I need to hear from people who are actually part of the solution, who work for providers as well. Yeah. Thank you.
So I hear you that you're going to be on through March, or till March, and so that gives us a chance to tell you again how wonderful you are. We'll do that, and you'll have to just put up with it. But thank you for the clarification and all your work on the Lived Experience Committee. I hope that it can become more solid. I think we're ready for a saves update. Is that and I'll come back to your suggestion, Kathleen, about doing a press release. So Hector, you want to give us some update? I know it's been the holiday. I don't know if you have anything new to report since last week particularly, but this is your time if you want.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So no, I guess there's not much happening right now. The main obstacle is that we're waiting for the location to be demolished. And as of last Friday, when I was there for the last time, no work has started yet. And I would imagine, I understand because of the rain, that's going to delay things as well. So until we can get all that demolition taken care of and we can get in there, then we can actually start working, doing what we need to do, building the infrastructure. In the meanwhile, like I've said many times, I've already contacted the main trades that we need to, have contacted a few electricians and plumbers, and to get that started, that's the biggest thing we need to do. Then, and in the meanwhile as well, security companies and shipping containers. I just got another email from another shipping container a minute ago. And so I'm doing all the work that I need to do to prepare. One thing I do have, so we already have trash pickup, I guess, from Recology and also the Porta Potties company. What is it? Honey Bucket, I think it's called. Who is in charge of that account? Because I'm thinking that maybe we can just extend it. We don't have to go out and, I don't know, I'm asking you guys what you think. Do I need to go out and research for new companies? I think Recology is the only game in town for trash pickup, but the Porta Potty companies, I think there's a couple more out there. So I don't know if we want to shop it, or we just want to keep the same accounts we have now and just transfer them over to the new location. What do you think would be the best thing to do?
Gregory, do you have just the update on what the account is we have now?
Saves has an account with Honey Bucket. It can easily be rolled over into this one.
Okay.
I recommend that.
Okay.
There's going to be a meeting at 1 o'clock today, as far as I know, Saves, work group.
Yes.
And
Yeah, we'll be there. Okay.
we should make that decision, but yeah, there's no problem rolling over we've been using Honey Bucket for 3 years, so.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'll make things easier. Same as with Recology as well. I guess,
yeah.
who's, I don't want to
Let's talk-
step on anyone's toes. So I don't know if there's somebody already in the group that's handling
we
those
We
relationships.
Hector, let's talk about this at 1 when we can really get into it, but I think it might be left over from our time at the Grange, which would probably be me that's on the account.
Okay.
Let me look into it a little bit and I'll be there at 1.
Okay, perfect. So that's it. That's all the questions the report I have so far. We're just waiting. Hopefully we can get started soon.
Thank you. Carrie, Gregory, you had something else?
Well, as far as I know, and Diana can confirm, we still have a 4 o'clock meeting with the city, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and Diana just introduced herself in the chat that she is a city council woman member of Sebastopol. So we're glad you showed up. Thank you. Carrie.
Yeah, Recology isn't the only game in town. Personally, I haul trash. There are others around that do trash from homes for people that can't afford Recology. They are a lot cheaper. I suggest you look into somebody other than Recology. My experience with Recology is reprehensible, as in them not showing and doing a part of a job. So I find that employees are employees. People that actually care for what they're doing actually care what they're doing. So, and that's my comment about trash.
Carrie, I know you're deeply involved in trash, so I take your advice very strongly. Could you send some recommendations to Hector?
Including your own.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have his email or some way? Maybe Hector could put it in the chat.
Yeah, I can put my email in the chat.
No,
Right.
but Hector put yours in the chat so he can.
Okay. Where do I go to the share content?
No, it's chat at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Okay, Gregory, could you make me a co-host? So
Sure.
thank you. All right, so Suzanne, I just wanted to acknowledge that the work you're doing to try to find out everyone who is going to be affected by this move to the village. And what you're doing is really, really important. And I just want to validate it here in front of everybody.
Thank you. I wanted to say thank you also to Diana for being here. And Diana and I talked a little about this, about the number of people who are in the trailers who have been invited in there because it's too cold and too wet outside, that there's so many of them. Diana, I don't think we're on this meeting yet, but I mentioned that I'm trying to get names, even if it's just first names of people who won't have anywhere to be, and who are, it's cold and it's freezing currently. Or I mean, maybe not freezing today, but it will be in a few days. And then also there's obviously way more trailers and vehicles than can go into the village. And I'm the one who keeps saying, these are also Sebastopol residents. I know I
You're
said
right.
it over and
You
over.
did it anyway.
I'm okay, enough for.
Get my email up so I can get on the portal.
Well, you would get my chart.
Hi, somebody came in and we're getting some background noise. If you could, everybody mute if you're not speaking.
Your chart?
So let's see, where are we? Oh, the Sebastopol. I wanted to just let you know that we have applications now for the village from 16 people on Morris Street. So we're looking at being able to get 20 vehicles over there, which means that we're getting close to having
There's at least 6 more that have gone to Jennifer Lake. Well, one of them hasn't. She was looking at them first for information, and then we'll get to you. There's more of those.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. And, some people I'm sure will also drop out when the moment comes, because that's just so how it is. People who've been on the fence will jump and say, yes, I want to do it. And some people who said they want to do it will say, oh, no. But it seems pretty clear that we're going to fill up quickly and have a waiting list. So I don't know what's going to happen to the rest of those vehicles and the rest of those people. It's just hard. What else? Oh, I know. I wanted to go back to Kathleen's suggestion that we do a press release about the winter and the lack of winter shelter. Does anybody oppose to this? Is there anyone who can help with this? Carrie? Is that your hand saying you'll help, or is that your hand saying you want to talk? Either way.
That's my hand saying I want to help. Yeah, I can. This last week has been, I don't know how your Christmas went, but my Christmas went out in the open with homeless people. We need not just healing, but cooling centers for summertime too. You can only take so much clothing off. So yeah, I'll help. Anything I can do for you, I'm here.
Eric, please put your phone number in the chat, and thank you so much for offering to help. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, and check in with me, Kathleen, on Tuesday. If I have some time, I'll put my oar into it.
Yeah, I need to consult with you, and Gail, I would also like to ask for your input. So that'll help. That'll be great.
I would recommend that somebody, before they write the press release, or at least put it out, check with the county, make sure Linda has a chance to be able to say what the county thinks it is doing. I know the last time they said, well, it's not our problem, it's the cities. They're the ones that open this, warming centers or cooling centers. And I can hear that, but I just don't want him to say, you didn't talk to me.
All right, I'll get in touch with her. And I think that, Santa Rosa City is equally culpable here.
I know, it's Kelly.
Well, I forget Kelly. I want to go to the mayor and the city council.
Well, and don't forget the new city manager who starts,
Oh, that's right. Has she started yet?
No, 4 days.
Okay. So, Carrie, that's good. Let's see.
Yeah, one of the problems I found this last weekend wasn't making the center. I could find a spot, I could set up. What I found the problem was getting those who most need it there. We ended up sending one of our locals to the hospital yesterday. He, in protest about our local shelter, stopped eating, stopped seeking any comfort or warmth at all. He was laying out in the open in the rain. He refused to go, but we finally just said, heck with it, you're going. And we called on him anyway, against his wishes. But getting him there and getting other people there, finding the people and getting them there, that's the hard part. Getting
Very-
some set up was okay.
The word of mouth
But
isn't.
word of mouth, and getting people there from their camps to there, or the ones that are out in the street to there. On Christmas Eve, the sheriff's department did a sweep underneath the Guerneville Bridge right as it was starting to rain and hail. They pushed out
Two
four
veterans.
people that we had inside tents. They pushed out 6 other people that were up underneath the bridge. One that I've been searching for that I could have gotten housed that day. These people ended up scattering. I was able to find 3. One I came across at around 1:30 this morning, and she was huddled next to WCCS, and I could hear her teeth chattering from 10 feet away. I couldn't talk her into coming with me, and let's go back over here and I'll set up again and we'll get you warm. I can't do it right here. And she just wouldn't, she just wouldn't. So that's the hard part. Getting the people there, not setting up the place. We can throw money at it all we want. It's the humanity end that's difficult.
Exactly.
So Carrie, can you say, I hear that the one guy was angry at the shelter. But what is the barrier? Is it people don't trust you or people don't know about it? What is really the barrier?
This first weekend, people didn't know about it. It's searching for the people and getting them there. And then when we did find people, some of them were so high, they couldn't make the trip. Literally, they could not get up and walk away. So, I mean, I had no recourse, but just leave them there.
Right.
And, you know, that's the barrier.
Go.
As far as being trusted, Sally and I, in doing this, are gaining trust of the people. They are realizing that we, even though, yeah, we do move camps out, and yeah, I pack out camps, and you can hire my company to remove camps from private property. So, and they know this. So there was a bit of a trust problem, and I had a person come up to me a few weeks ago and go, "You're the one in charge of people going away. I want you to stop making all my friends go away." And actually, no, it's not me. That was Tim and WCCS, and he's getting people housed. And yeah, the people are going away because they're actually getting off the streets. And there's trust in that way from a few people that think that I'm actually shipping people out. No, I just do garbage. Pretty much, guys, I just do garbage. That's it.
We're looking out for you though.
Yeah. You know, we take them clothing and we take them food and, you know, little treats. We'll take whole groups over the subway and feed whole groups, you know. The owner of Subway, by the way, here in Guerneville, he is totally discriminating against the homeless. He does not want the homeless coming into Subway at all. And when they come in, he will push them out again. And that's as wrong as you can possibly get. That removes one of the few available food sources that gives these people a complete meal, vegetables, meat, protein with
Bread,
cheese, bread,
starch.
you know, and the owner, he's denying these people this.
Wow.
So
Middle Eastern.
trust
yeah,
trust
but-
is a factor. It really is. You know, we remove camps, and they know this.
Okay.
I don't want to see people in our forest. I don't want people along the river.
No drought.
Okay, Carrie, we've got a couple other hands up.
Okay.
And I think I need a little bit of time to just absorb the pain that you experience. Ludmilla and then Gail.
Sorry, I'm looking at the symptoms of hypothermia. One of the things is, as hypothermia sets in, people's thinking can become less, and it's actually I know for me, when I was out there last winter, you know, when it was below 40 degrees, I would get like really sleepy a lot, and you know, and just kind of getting out and getting out and about would be like, it would just take more thought, you know what I mean, more thought than one would think, you know, to go, oh, you know.
Right.
And so it's really easy to have unclear thinking. If I'm just, so that's a big thing. Okay, what I was gonna say about the whole thing is, there is a very inadequate list of warming shelters that came out as an attachment someplace as a document. I just made a copy of that, printed up a number of them, and I have them in my car, and I've handed out a couple of those, what the warming shelter list is for people to go to. Like a week or so ago, I was handing out some of those. It's not adequate, but there's also a piece of paper that if there's another resource that you could actually handwrite it, you know, on there when you hand it to somebody. Really kind of having that, because if I knew where, even if it doesn't have to be like a fancy shelter, but if there was just a tent, like with one of those propane heaters in there that was set up somewhere around town, you know, and I could let people know where that was, and that was on a list, I could hand that to people, and those of us who are here could hand that to people. I will say, I heard at the beginning Gregory offered to fund Carrie's heater that he'd taken out of his own pocket. I would second that. And I'm just kind of wondering, is that, I know homeless section does not have deep pockets here, but for if any of us are willing to go and provide a heater or tarps or something like that to people that we find, is what is Homeless Action's capacity to help reimburse us, since maybe answer that.
That's a good question, Mila. I don't actually know. I haven't gotten an update on our treasure in about a month. So I think we've got a couple $1,000s in there, which means we could reimburse Carrie and reimburse some other people if you all wanted to do it. But certainly this is about as emergency gets.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Kathleen.
I can't raise my hand or anything. It's Cheryl, but like I said, I'm in Guerneville and I have all the plastic to cut still, and I have several tarps. And like I said, I'm going out today with the food, and I'm always telling Kieran, he knows that I have all the supplies, and I'm going to bring him stuff for the area that he needs, and I'm willing to give out anything and hand warmers. So I mean, I have the supplies to give out, and I do give them out here. But if he needs anything, I can just drop it. I've been asking what he needs for the area that he's doing, and just need to figure out how we can set it up to be easy for him to have and locate it where he needs it. So I have that kind of stuff for everywhere because I've been collecting tarps and everything else.
Right. No, so not the heaters, but other supplies. Cheryl, are you willing to bring things to Santa Rosa as well?
Yeah.
Great. All right, thank you.
I'm
Al
going
and
Adrian, I'm going to.
yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
I'm going to turn your offer of money down. I want you to put money towards new equipment. I might accept $100, but that's it. I want you to put money towards new equipment. We need to get, I've got this bought. This has already been purchased. We've got this handled. Let's get other people stabilized. That's my comment about funding.
All
I'm
right,
turning you down.
thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Gail and Kathleen.
Yes, please. Slightly different subject, but talking about reaching out to people that can't get to services. I was wondering if anybody has a comment on yesterday's newspaper article about a group called Micah's Hugs that are trying to reach out to folks that are struggling with addiction. Does anybody in our group interact with them and know them? That's all.
This is the first I've heard of them. We will definitely be talking to them. They are located in Sebastopol. And they do some scholarships for people to go into inpatient drug treatment, which I think will be really good if we can get a couple of those for some people in the village. But they also just do a lot of addiction work, and certainly we need that. So we will be talking, but I'd never heard of them. Okay, yeah. Anybody else have an answer to Gail before I move on? Gregory, did you?
Yeah, there's the guy who runs the storage place for our RV down on Santa Rosa Avenue is a guy named Travis. He's an ex addict who was connected to Crossing the Jordan, and some of the people from Micah came out of the demise of Crossing the Jordan, and he could put us in touch with them.
Thank you, Kathleen, and then I think back to Gregory.
Okay, let me see. I had a note so I won't forget all this stuff. Number one, Eileen had a beautiful letter in the paper today. We need more of that. So people, keep this on your mind. Start writing, sending stuff out. Linda Hopkins claimed to, we tried on this young man, Mr. Bosco, who got 23, who died in Guerneville from hypothermia. Well, he didn't want to accept help. What could we do? And I think in some of these cases, it might be possible to take them into custody because they are a danger to themselves. That is a reason for a 50-51. Rather than finding somebody dead on the streets. So I think that's something that could help. And also that we're going to take this issue up of the no action on the part of the authorities here. Commission on Human Rights will be taking this up at my suggestion Tuesday evening. Please come and voice your support for this. It's 5:30 p.m. Look it up for the link on the county website for Commission on Human Rights, and please help support that effort. I think if we get something out from Homeless Action, something out from the Human Rights Commission, that maybe will have an impact. So we're going to try.
Thank you. Perhaps you or someone else, I know you're taking notes, so you can't. Perhaps someone else could go and find that link for us and get it into the chat before we're finished here. Anyone else? I'm not seeing hands. I thought I was going back to you, Gregory, but.
Well, let me just say
Okay.
one more thing. Both of the last two Homeless Action meetings, the one with the Adult Protective Lady and the two with Joe and are on the Homeless Action website. Grace is putting them up so that you can, review those, because, there was a lot of good information about 5150s and about what the county has in the way of services. And some of the people on this call might not have been at those meetings. So I would recommend refreshing your memory by watching them. They're each about an hour long, and they're as interesting as our meetings are. So try to pass that around, that, Homeless Action's website is going to become a kind of repository of all of our meetings.
Yeah, that's great. So that woman, Anita, was from the Adult Protective Services. I really hope you'll take time to listen to it. It was very interesting, I thought. Someone just came in on a 70710 phone number. Would you mind identifying yourself, please?
That's Bruce.
Oh, hi, Bruce. You've got a click in the back of you. If you could mute, I think it's *6.
Okay, *6 to mute.
Yeah, and then again to unmute when you need to unmute.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Gregory, I just let you a message in the chat. Anything else? We've got 20 minutes here if we want to use it, or we could all just have a little more vacation and cookie eating time. Yes.
Yeah, so I know some of us had put in to be a part of Permit Sonoma's General Plan Advisory Committee regarding housing. I got a letter back from them saying that I had not been selected. It looked like Pat and Gregory were also CC'd on that, as far as people who had not been selected on that committee. Does anybody know who was?
Anybody know?
Yeah, so it's listed on the, if you go to the Permit Sonoma webpage, it was posted last week. You'll see a lot of pretty familiar names in the land of housing, not in the land of homelessness. So Miriam was also not selected, but there is a list of who's on that, on the Permit Sonoma. I was just, if I can find it, I'll send it around.
Yeah, sorry, I tried to find it. I did not find it. I do want to say, I know we've really talked about the unsheltered, well, immediate cold situation a lot. I just wanted to mention this with Diana Rich here. I wanted you to hear. I called in. I'd seen some people outside unsheltered. Last week I'd called it in to 911 because there was no other resource I could call for people who are outside with the temperature dropping down to freezing that night. And I was told by the 911 operator in Santa Rosa that they had no resources, that the police did not have any blankets or anything like that to give people out if they found people who were basically in danger of freezing that night. They didn't have blankets, and all they would do is say, oh well, we have shelters, but there was no path to like getting this person in the shelter. Anyways, she told me that in future to make calls like that on the non-emergency line. So
I'm sorry, Adrian, if I could ask Ludmila, was that a Sebastopol person?
No, that was a Santa Rosa person, but I'm just saying that in the county's system, even a call to 911 can, by a concerned citizen, it can result in in future call a non-emergency line, and that's inadequate for in this county. Yes, I am concerned about the Cahoots teams. I haven't reached out to Petaluma area to see if Cahoots has they don't call it Cahoots down in this area. I know, if there's a team that it can go out and help people you know, and provide at least a blanket or somebody to talk to, or I'm going to say one thing that really, really helps physical. I'm sorry, just something, a resource. I'm going to say one of the best ways to help people warm up and is a warm liquid. So even if somebody can provide just a warm cup of tea to somebody, that will help warm them from the inside. Just saying.
Yeah, thank you. I think, you know, when I was listening to various city councils decide about doing the teams, which I think are now called SAFE in the South County, there was the idea that the could be a team that could go out for these kinds of emergencies, exactly what you're talking about, and would provide a certain amount of, you know, warmth and blankets and rides to the emergency room and you know, just basically try to do that next step that you were hoping someone would do. I don't know how well it's working yet. I know Cheryl tried to call them at one point for someone in Roanoke Park, and they were already out on another call, so it took too long really for them to get there. But that wasn't, I mean, that wasn't the problem really. At least they were there to be called, which right now we don't have. All right. Well, it's a very sad and sobering conversation we've had today, but I think it's really important. And thank you, Ashley Carey, for doing. You know, you are in the night trying to save people's lives, and I just feel immensely grateful to you. And I should mention Cheryl as well has also been out late at night, early in the morning, trying to just help people. So
I put
let's
the
keep on keeping on.
I put the link to the
Gregory?
list. I put the link to the list of people who were selected. There's a guy named Scott Braun who's in a slot that says for homeless. He's from Sonoma Valley and is connected to Homeless Action Sonoma. Scott Braun. There's also Diana Bell Kerr from the United Church. There's several people that I think we should know. Because if we're going to try and get them to adequately represent homeless housing, the traditional folks from the housing development companies, Burbank, Mid-Penn, all of them, they're all there. But there's some church members and a representative from Fish. You know, look at the list, and if you know anybody or know anybody who knows anybody, then you know, let them know about us and ask them to advocate strongly.
And maybe if you could just back up, Gregory, and I know people applied, so I'm sure those of you who applied have more idea than the rest of us, but what are these committee members going to be working on? What is their?
Do you remember David Graybill? He
yes.
advocated for the housing authority of the city of Santa Rosa and got them sanctioned by the state. This is a group that is the county housing element advisory. This is to try to get the county to provide low-income housing for everybody. And this group has, you know, at least the same kind of influence over what the planning department or what the county does as any other committee that the county has set up. I'm on a couple of committees, as you know, and you know, if citizens are able to influence politics, this is how you do it. So I applaud the county for setting up a housing authority, housing element advisory committee, but it's only as good as the people who are on it make noise, and the people who are on it need to hear from you.
And as Ludmilla said, it's the administrative places that it's helping to develop the 10-year plan for housing.
Right.
Jerry.
It's an 8-year plan. So Gregory, I was right behind you. So I actually put the names into the list, but thank you. And the link is there too. So, but it's an 8-year plan. It has real authority. We can hold people accountable if we can get stuff into the housing element. And so that's why it's important, is trying to get the things in the housing element, like the tiny houses, the different kinds of sewage issues, the RENA numbers, the goal numbers that each city has to comply with. It has real authority, but it's a technical, bureaucratic BS as well.
Yeah. but we've
Well,
had-
I remember when we first went to try to get some, RV villages, tiny home villages and so on, and we ran up against, oh no, we just can't do it. It's not in the code. It's not in the plan. So that's where you saw it's taken us 4 or 5 years now to move that needle. Whereas if it had been in the plan, maybe we could have moved it much quicker. So that's the hope of doing some of this long-term, as you say, bureaucratic work. Yeah, Jerry.
And that's the importance of knowing who these people are, is to sporadically tell them what your concerns are, congratulate them for being part of the committee, but really like raise up the issues that Homeless Action is trying to raise up. These are people who, knowing that you're looking over their shoulder actually will help them. And then when they have specific questions, you would hope that they would reach back out to any one of us for ideas on recommendations to make.
Right. And I don't know if you noticed, but the whole conversation we've had about Copper Woman and the PR's code enforcement, this completely overlaps with that. This is where we could have the county allow composting toilets, for instance, or tiny homes, as we've said. Okay. Anything else today?
Does anybody know whether or not the lawsuit's being settled or not? The city council had another briefing last week on what they're going to do. And of course, they never reported anything except we gave advice to our lawyers.
Right. Gail or Kathleen, do you have any updates from the legal team?
Not at this point. We're waiting for those communications to go back and forth, I believe.
Okay, well, they're doing it.
Well, I told you last week, I went to that court hearing. You can watch them, the one in San Francisco about Benucci. Okay. And that Colleen was very good. She had 3 witnesses from the homeless community that told the judge why they didn't want to go into the shelter. And what he finally did do is extend it until January 17th. I think that's when the next one will be.
Yes.
And so if we could, no, excuse me, January 14th at 9 a.m. Okay, so if you'd like me to, if I get the link from Pauline to be able to go and watch that court hearing again, where Petaluma was pleading with the judge to do something about these people that were living at Steamer Gold.
Steamer Landing.
I can post it to the Homeless Action website if you'd like me to,
Yes.
so that everyone can go to
Yes.
court.
Yes, I'd really like to
On
see
Zoom.
this to
You
hearing.
want to watch the Zoom meeting? Because
Yeah.
we don't get that
Yeah.
information till the last minute.
Yeah.
You know
there's
how the courts are.
2
They
things,
don't tell you
Anita.
what room they're going to be until you get there.
Yeah.
2 things, Anita. Grace is putting things up that I get to her, and you can get the same information to her faster. We need 2 things. We need the tape from last time, which the court lawyers said that they would provide us eventually. Well, it's eventually. So try to get the tape
Oh.
from the last time so we can listen to it, and the notice of.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please don't confuse. There are 2 cases that are on the dockets at the moment. One is the Benucci case. What Anita is referring to is the Steamer's Landing case. They are
Exactly.
different.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. We can watch them.
Was that what you as well,
Yes.
Gail?
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
All right. Well, happy holidays, everybody. Have a good New Year's. We'll see you in 2022.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Everything will be changed.
Wait a minute. We just got someone new came in.
Okay.
You want to introduce yourself?
Who's one?
My name is Warren.
Who's Eddie? Hey,
Hi,
Eddie.
yeah, I have a resolution, and I'm just going to be loving.
Thank you.
That's it.
I see.
Thank you. All right. See you next week, everybody.
Love one
Bye.
another.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.